E aí, beleza? That's all I had. So my name is Henrik. I run an innovation firm in New York, London, and Copenhagen, where we help large companies make new startups. I also had the luxury of being a mentor both at Techstars in New York and in Seed Camp in Europe, and now here at 212, where I met, I think, the team that I'm probably most impressed of all the mentorships I've ever done. And the reason is that it's a team that has very, very great ambitions about what they want to do. They really seem to know how to get shit done. And then they are working in a space that I think is really ripe for disruption. One of the reasons why I think it's so ripe is that I was 35 minutes late today. And I was 35 minutes late because I couldn't get a taxi. Which is a little bit ironic considering that Brazil and Rio is one of the places in the world where there's the most taxis. So you might think, like, why is there not an app or a service that can help you with that? With that in mind, let me introduce you to a very amazing team, Resolve.
Thank you, Henrik, for the amazing introduction. Hello guys, my name is José Sapir, and I'm here today to present you Resolve, a revolution in Brazilian transportation. Why do we need a revolution? Well, because getting around in Brazil is a real hassle. Going from point A to point B can be a confusing and frustrating experience. When we started Resolve, we wanted to revolutionize every aspect of the way transportation works in the entire country. We wanted to completely alter the way people buy and book airline tickets, intercity bus tickets, car rentals. But then it hit us. People can't even get a cab to the airport. There was a much more immediate problem to solve. It was then that we decided to focus on taxis and town cars, the kind of transportation many of us deal with every single day. Let's say if an Alfred needs a cab home from work. He'll then have to select one of the 3 taxi numbers he has on his phone and gives them a call. There are literally thousands of cabs that will be able to provide Alfred with a ride, but he's limited to the 3 numbers he has on his phone, and even more limited by the 1 number he will actually call. This taxi company Alfred calls has on average 100 cars. Cars that are not necessarily available and not necessarily close to him. And once he makes the call, he'll most likely be put on hold before speaking with someone to complete his request. This on average takes 5 minutes. The cab company will then look for his taxi and call him back in 10 minutes, saying that the taxi will arrive in another 15. If it arrives on time, and that's a huge if, he'll end up wasting 30 minutes waiting for 1 taxi. And this, unfortunately, happens not just to Alfred, but to every one of us. And if we take only 2 taxis a week, by the end of 6 months, we will end up wasting 24 hours. An entire day of our lives. If it's a rainy day, or if it's rush hour, the experience is even worse. On days like those, we would be glad to wait just 30 minutes. But even though getting a taxi is a huge personal problem for most of us, how big of a market are we talking about here in Brazil? Well, let's take a look. In New York, home of the world-famous yellow cabs, there are roughly 13,000 taxis. In London, the black cab capital, there are 17,000. In São Paulo alone, we have 33,000 cabs. And in Rio de Janeiro, we have another 38,000. And outside these 2 main cities, there are an additional 65,000 taxis distributed across the country. It all adds up to a staggering total of over 136,000 taxis. Based on stats from taxi companies, we know that each one of these 136,000 taxis perform at least 20 rides every day, with an average fare that goes from 15 to 25 hash. They do this every day of the year. We only have to do the math here. See that taxi rides in Brazil generate over $8 billion in revenue each year. When thinking of companies trying to solve urban transportation problem with technology, most of us think of Uber as a benchmark. Focused on a town car service operated in a handful of US cities, Uber raised $32 million in venture capital by the end of last year. Based on their success, it is no surprise that there are several companies trying to apply an Uber-like model with taxis in Brazil. The model works great in the US, but Brazil poses a different and unique set of challenges, and the Resolve model is the only one that addresses them. In their model, they rely on direct relationships with individual taxi drivers, including payment processing for each one of these guys. It is a huge commercial effort, and it's really hard to scale quickly. Plus, when you become partners with individual taxi drivers, you become competitor to existing taxi companies. Instead of trying to bypass taxi companies, Resolve 8 partners with them. We've built an exclusive network of already established taxi companies, adding up to thousands of taxis. In their model, they have a significant software and hardware expense. They need to provide drivers with smartphones so that they can dispatch their rides and track their position by GPS. They also need to build the entire system, apps for users, apps for drivers, and the backend that connects them. All of these companies Resolve 8 partner already have a GPS dispatch system. They already have what it takes to dispatch rides to cab drivers and to track them down. Plus, the drivers are already trained to operate their end of the system. We plug into the same system that the taxi companies themselves use to dispatch their own rides. In their model, they need to provide some serious quality assurance for each one of these individual taxis. Resolve 8 partners the most reputable taxi companies on the market. They do the quality assurance for us. We only have to monitor it. With this strategy, we've been able to scale our business at an incredible rate. And now Alfred can reach thousands of taxis with one simple request. And the user experience is awesome. We've created simple web, mobile, and iPhone applications that connect this network of suppliers with the end users automatically and seamlessly. Well, how does it work? Let's take a look at the beta of our iPhone app. We automatically locate you. You can fine-tune your position on a map, or either choose from stored or recent addresses. Then, you only have to provide us your destination, and voila. On the push of the button, our algorithm will automatically go through our entire network until it finds whatever suits you best. You'll have different options to choose from. And once you locate one of these options, the request will automatically appear on the taxi driver screen. As soon as you accept your ride, you'll get to see a taxi coming to you on a map in real time. Soon, you'll be able to rate your drivers and to pay for a ride using a credit card directly through your smartphone. This product is completely free for the end user. We only charge taxi companies and for the rides we bring them. We also expect additional revenue in analytics, given that we will be the only ones in the entire country to have centralized, real-time data about urban transportation supply and demand. Well, if we want our users to be truly satisfied, we need to have cabs available everywhere and anytime. That's why we decided to first bring in a substantial network of suppliers to then allow the app to scale virally. And we've already brought in 7,500 taxis. This means that if you go out on the streets right now, out of every 5 cabs you see, 1 is connected to Resolve 8.
Yeah.
Wow.
And remember, these are all exclusive deals. And boy, I love the way that sounds. We've been having a private beta in Rio for the past couple of weeks with a control group of users. And we're almost ready to launch in Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, and Brasilia, the most important cities in the country. We also have deals in progress in 8 other Brazilian capitals. And our app has recently been submitted to the App Store and is pending approval. Well, our most incredible feat here was to assemble a brilliant team. Being a hybrid company working online and offline, we need to be terrific in both IT and management. Everything we've accomplished so far is a consequence of a good balance between technology and business. Our founding partners embody this vision. They are Rafael Kaufman, a mad scientist with an expertise in machine learning and artificial intelligence, and Gabriel Silva, a marketing and commercialist. He can get a partner to sign a contract in record speed. Together, they've built an amazing team I'm really proud to be part of. It is already a team of 10, 5 in the business area, 3 developers, and 2 designers. We've been self-funded so far, and now we're looking to raise $1 million. And I'm really proud to announce that we recently reached a commitment for 30% of this amount. We reached this commitment with an extremely experienced group of business angels in Brazil. They're going to be incredible partners, I'm sure. Well, we know that this is a winner-takes-all market, so we need to take immediate and assertive actions to dominate it. This means investing heavily on sales, product development, and user acquisition. With this amount of investment, by the end of our first year, we can reach a gross revenue of $6 million. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. The revolution starts now. Resolve 8, you think we...